My name is Kyle Filicky and I'm an ecologist and botanist with Civil and Environmental Consultants. And today, me and my colleagues, such as Sara Keddie, Jared Walker, and Chris Imbrogno, are going to take you on an adventure to identify some of your favorite holiday trees.
Standing behind me is the American holly. It is distinguishable from other hollies because it has spiny green leaves and bright red drupes. A drupe is a fleshy fruit with an inner stone-containing seed. Cherries, peaches, and olives are examples of drupes that you've probably consumed before. This fruit provides food for many types of wildlife. However, they are poisonous to humans. The leaves have an alternate arrangement. They are shiny and dark green above and pale below. They are toothed and they have a waxy cuticle which causes them to snap when you fold them in half. The bark is light gray and smooth regardless of maturity. Due to its thin bark, it is easily susceptible to burning during wildfires. They can grow up to 60 feet tall and live for 150 years. Early American settlers in the eastern United States did not have access to trees such as spruce, so they used branches of holly, such as this one, with bright red drupes, for holiday decorations.
Here's the eastern white pine, one of the most iconic trees native to the northeast United States. By taking a closer look at one of the bundles of the eastern white pine, we can see that there are 5 needles per bundle, which is unique to any of the pine trees on the eastern United States. Typically, the white pine cones are 4 to 7 inches long, and they're cylindrical with thick, rounded cone scales. If we can see the white on the cone scales, that is resin, and these cones tend to be very resinous. Looking at the twigs, we can see that they are very slender and have a gray-green color to them. On the new growth, we can see that the color of the twig is reddish-brown. The white pine is a very tall tree with reaching heights of 100 to 120 feet tall. Because of this, early settlers used these trees as masts for their ships.
If you look behind me, you'll notice a Virginia pine. Virginia pines are smaller compared to other pines, averaging at 15 to 40 feet. The needles of the Virginia pine are 1.5 to 3 inches long, with 2 yellow-green twisted, somewhat divergent needles that are placed around the stem. Looking at the cones, you'll notice that it's armored with spikes surrounding the cone, and then they persist on the branch throughout the year. The bark of the Virginia pine is red and brown in color, and also has a tendency to be rough with relatively small bark scales. A fun fact about the Virginia pine is that its nickname is the King of the Hill. It gets that because it grows on the summits of hills.
Here we have a Scots pine. They are native to Asia and Europe. They are brought over to America for their horticultural and timber resources. If we look closely at the needles, we can see that they're in pairs of 2, with 2 needles per bundle. And the unique thing with Scots pine is the needles have a unique twist to them. Here we can see an unopened cone, and we can see the shape is ovid or also egg-shaped. The cones are usually 1.5 to 2.5 inches long, and they're typically the color of yellow-brown. The bark, as you can see here, is orange to orange-brown and scaly, and it also peels in its younger form. Eventually, it'll develop irregular gray or red-brown ridges and furrows, which are the depressions along the tree and the bark. When the tree matures, its upper crowns will always show orange peeling bark. Overall, these trees grow to about a height of 90 feet.
Here we have the eastern hemlock, which is the state tree of Pennsylvania. The protective foliage of this tree provides shelter for many different species. Birds, such as turkey and ruffed grouse, use its branches as a place to roost. Bears use larger trees that are hollowed out for dens. The needles are flat, 1/2 inch long, and taper to a dull point. They are shiny above and have 2 white parallel lines below. They have a light brown cone with rounded scales that matures in early fall. They are pollinated by wind in the spring. Unfortunately, the eastern hemlock is currently undergoing a drastic reduction in its range due to the presence of the woolly hemlock adelgid. This insect sucks sap from hemlocks and spruce trees, taking away vital nutrients needed for their survival.
Here we have a white spruce. It is another tree commonly planted across North America for windbreaking and ornamental purposes. This spruce also has green needle-like leaves. However, they're a little less sharp to the touch than the others. They also have cones that tend to cluster towards the top of the tree. This is the blue spruce, also known as the Colorado spruce, where it's native to the cool climate and the high elevation of the Colorado Rocky Mountains. The tree typically grows to be around 80 feet tall and 5 feet in diameter at breast height. Looking closely at one of the branches, we can see that the tips appear to have a bluish tint to them. This is due to a waxy glabrous coating. That coating tends to rub off as the tree matures, leaving behind green needles. These trees grow between 6 to 12 feet a year. When they mature, it will look like their branches appear to be weeping. The Colorado blue spruce is the most drought-tolerant species of Picea in North America. It also happens to be the state tree of Colorado, and up until 2014, it was the state tree of Utah too.
This is a Norway spruce. As the name suggests, they're native to Europe. They can be found in the wild, and they're often planted as windbreaks. If you look closely at the Norway spruce, you'll notice that there's even length needle distribution along the branches, much like a bottle brush. The needles are singly attached and about a half an inch to an inch long. They also have green tops and bottoms. The Norway spruce can grow up to 180 feet tall, but as it gets older, it'll have new branchlets that'll droop down, which is a distinguishing characteristic. Fun fact about the Norway spruce is that the young branches have been used to brew beer.
Thanks for following along with the CC Botanical team, and from all of us, we hope you have a happy holiday season.